Thursday Night Football is in the books. My name is Harrison Graham as the Chargers take down the Broncos 34-27. Very intense game, very entertaining game. Big chess match between the two coaching staffs. Sean Payton got the better of Jesse Minter in the first half. That flipped in the second half. Justin Herbert, Greg Roman, and Jim Harbaugh got the better of Vance Joseph in the second half. They stormed back after trailing 21-10 late in the first half to win 34-27. Thoughts on this game? Thoughts on the AFC playoff picture as it's pretty much set. It's not official, but both these teams sitting at 9-6, their magic number is 1 to make the postseason, either getting one more tie, one more win, or having the three teams who are trailing them at 6-8 lose one more game. So we'll talk about all that here on tonight's show. But let's go ahead and remind you guys to subscribe to the channel. Listen, we're pumping out daily NFL, college football content here on 4 Verts. We're going to be live tomorrow night for an Indiana Notre Dame watch party, our first live college football watch party here on the channel. So should be a lot of fun. Be sure to subscribe and join us for that. Okay. I think tonight showed me a couple of things. And the main one being is that Justin Herbert is a really, really talented and special quarterback. And you might say, Harrison, duh, we know that. But, you know, for a little while in that game, you're kind of like looking at the stats, you're watching, you're like, is Bo Nix out playing Herbert in this spot on the road in a kind of fringe must-win game for LA? But as the game went on and you watch both quarterbacks play, there's a clear difference. One, Herbert's just played a lot longer, but two, he's challenging downfield. Bo Nix, Herb Street said it at one point late in the third quarter, he had 2.1 air yards on the night, I think, at one point. 2.6, can't remember what he said. It was the lowest for any quarterback, he said, all year, which seemed unlikely, but still, it was very low. And you start watching, you're like, yeah, these are all screens and checkdowns for Denver. Are you going to go downfield? And the one time they did in the second half, he was late on an out and up where Marvin Mims torched his defender, threw it late, underthrew it. They could have called PI. I was actually glad they didn't because it was such a poorly thrown ball from Bo Nix, and he even looked over at Peyton, like beating his chest, like, yeah, that's on me. I got to get that out earlier. But, you know, as the game went on, the better quarterback won. I think that was pretty clear. The touchdown pass to Darius Davis where he gets flushed to his left and kind of three-quarter flips it to the back pylon on a rope. I mean, that's a one of about 4 or 5 people on the planet can make that throw at this point in time. That was pretty special to see. Ladd McConkey had some big catches. Quentin Johnston had a big third down conversion at one point. Had a bad drop late, but Herbert bailed him out with the scramble on that drive that ultimately ended up in the drive that kind of iced the game. So, listen, they're leaning on Herbert. They can't run the football. Gus Edwards was in and out of the lineup. He had 68 yards. He did bust one late, but for 43. But before that, they could not run the ball at all. Obviously, J.K. Dobbins has been out, but Herbert, 23 of 31, 284, a couple of touchdowns. Did throw a pick in the first half. It's a nice play by the Broncos safety at the goal line. And, you know, you look at Bo Nix, 29 of 40, 263, 2 touchdowns. It's a pretty good stat line, but, man, Sean Payton does a really nice job of just designing screens, little flares to the running backs, easy completions over the middle. I'm not taking anything away from Bo Nix. I think he's playing really well this year. He's pushing Jaden Daniels for Rookie of the Year. But you watch them play, and you're like, Sean Payton's coaching his ass off, putting him in a good position to be successful and build confidence throughout these games. And Jesse Minter at halftime clearly made an adjustment. The Chargers defensive coordinator was like, hey, let's tackle better. And let's keep covering downfield. They're going to keep checking down, and we're not going to give up 20 yards after the catch on some of these plays because that's what was happening in the first half. They just swung one out to Mims at one point in the first half, a little just quick screen for 50 yards. I mean, just like, if you can get that type of production on just quick screens, I mean, they're going to keep doing it. Peyton tweeted this out at one point late in the first half or in the early second quarter, late. I can't remember when it was. Some point in the first half, they just kept running boots. He ran 3 bootlegs in like a 5-play stretch because they couldn't stop it. The only time he got stopped, Nix just threw a fastball too high for his fullback or running back, whoever flared in the flag. It was wide open. He just couldn't hang on to it. But as the game went on, the Broncos were not able to extend drives because they can't run the ball either, and Nix was either unable or just unwilling to throw the football downfield. So Chargers win 34-27. They sweep the season series, by the way, so they now own the tiebreaker for potential seeding, which puts LA in the 6th seed, Denver in the 7th seed. Let's go ahead and take a look at that playoff picture here as we get Week 16 underway. And it sits like this. Division leaders, Chiefs at 13-1. They obviously control their destiny. They play the Texans Saturday. Sounds like Patrick Mahomes is going to play. If they win that game and he's dinged up, you wonder if they would sit him on Christmas against Pittsburgh. NFL wouldn't like that, but we'll see if they would do that. Bills at 11-3, Pittsburgh at 10-4. Huge game against the Ravens on Sunday. If Baltimore were to win, that'll be a dogfight to the finish in the AFC North. Houston at 9-5, lurking for a potential 3 seed if Pittsburgh were to lose that game to Baltimore. We'll see how that shakes out. But with LA and Denver both sitting at 9-6, they only need to tie or win one more game of their final 2. And I know in the Chargers case, they're on the road against the Raiders and Patriots the last 2 weeks. They're going to win at least one of those. They probably should win both. And if they do, they're clinched at least the 6th seed. And then in Denver's case, at Cincinnati, Chiefs at home. So not layups, not done. I'll say this, the Bengals win this week and then beat the Broncos the next week, Denver would be 9-7, while Cincinnati would be 8-8, with Denver playing the Chiefs in Week 18, and then Cincinnati plays Pittsburgh in Week 18. So, not out of the woods yet. LA's pretty safe after tonight, given their remaining schedule, but the playoffs are likely set. One of Indy, Miami, or Cincinnati would have to win out, with the Chargers or the Broncos losing out for one of those 3 teams to steal a spot, which is kind of crazy. You got two weeks and change to go here, the rest of Week 16 and then 17 and 18, and the 7 playoff teams in the AFC feel mostly set, barring a chaotic scenario. So keep an eye on Cincinnati there, since they play the Broncos next week, and kind of control some of their destiny a little. But again, they need some help from either Denver or Los Angeles. Big picture, I look at these teams, with the Chargers, I think it's pretty clear they're probably a year away, just with their whole situation. Their roster is just not great. They need another playmaker. They're probably going to have to upgrade at running back. But if they're able to get the right matchup in the playoffs, like say they play the Texans, they could beat the Texans indoors in Houston. Herbert against Stroud. I like Herbert in that spot. So, they're not a Super Bowl contender, but they could win a playoff game if they get the right matchup. Harbaugh is obviously a big game coach. Sean Payton's not going to be intimidated. Just kind of feels like you're swimming uphill a little bit with Bo Nix. Like, he's going to take care of the football. He's going to make good decisions. Their defense is very good, but can he generate enough big plays to win a playoff game? Because eventually you're going to have to hit a couple. Like, you gotta hit, a 25-yard play at some point in the game, and it just doesn't feel like they're that built to do that. So we'll see how it shakes out. Either way, both these teams, fantastic seasons given their expectations. Power of head coach Sean Payton, Jim Harbaugh. Congratulations to both of these franchises. My name is Harrison Graham. We are going to get out of here. Hit that subscribe button. We'll see you guys tomorrow night for Notre Dame and Indiana.